Still to come, the mother of that young lady at the center of the controversy over the Pledge of Allegiance.
But first, your local news.
And we'll talk to the mother of the girl at the center of that Pledge of Allegiance controversy. She now says that her daughter doesn't have a problem saying the phrase "under God." We're going to find out what she thinks of the case and the outcry.
Okay, Al, thanks a lot. Up next, the mother of the girl at the center of the Pledge of Allegiance lawsuit speaks out. That's right after this.
Exactly 3 weeks ago, the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco shocked a lot of Americans when it ruled the phrase "one nation under God" in the Pledge of Allegiance violates the Constitution's separation of church and state. Atheist Michael Newdow, the father of a young girl, filed the suit. And after the ruling, he talked to Katie.
Why was it so important to you? What was your goal?
My goal is to strengthen the Constitution, and we're not supposed to have religion infused into our society by government, and that's my goal.
What impact do you think the phrase "under God" potentially had on your daughter that prompted you to take this step?
It's government instituting its dogma to her and all students, and it's not supposed to be there.
Now, Sandra Banning, the mother of the 8-year-old girl at the center of the case, is speaking out. Paul Sullivan is her lawyer. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Matt.
Ms. Banning, you've been saying in press releases and letting it be known that you want to set the record straight on this case. What is it you want to say?
I want to communicate to the American people that my daughter is being raised in a Christian home, and we attend church regularly, and she's not been harmed by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
So why didn't you say this earlier while this case was making its way through the courts?
Well, I was aware that Mr. Newdow had filed the case, but he certainly didn't ask my opinion on the matter, and we are not together. I certainly didn't think that the case had any merit. I never even thought that it would ever get this far.
So when the case came to court and when the ruling came out, you were as shocked as some other Americans by the outcome?
Absolutely, very shocked.
What have the past 3 weeks been like for your daughter?
Well, for the most part, she did see the segment with her father being interviewed by Katie, but other than that, I've kept her away from the television and the news. So other than aware that it has, you know, this has come forth and that her, and being aware of the ruling, I've pretty much kept her out of the, away from the TV in that regard.
What about contact with friends and other people? Has anyone been harsh with her about being the person named in this suit?
No, not at all. In fact, her classmates, I think as far as her classmates are concerned, it was just, you know, it just was a decision, or it was out in the media and it left again. You know, with second and third graders, things move pretty fast. So she hasn't received any backlash from it.
But you do feel there's a misperception among the American people that your daughter is someone who supported this suit and who does have a problem with the phrase "under God" in the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's correct. I think that the way the ruling was read, the opinion was read, and it just gives the opinion or impression that this little girl is an atheist and that her father is representing her views.
Let me just read you a statement from her father. We did contact him. Here's what he said, quote, "From the moment this story broke, I've repeatedly made it clear that this is my lawsuit, not my daughter's. I've done everything I could do to distance her from the controversy and to conceal her identity." What's your comment on that statement?
Well, I believe then that he states in his case that his daughter has been harmed and that it brings her distress to observe her classmates reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, and so therefore I think he does bring her into the whole matter.
Which, by the way, in your opinion, is not true anyway. She actually led her third grade class in the pledge, isn't that right?
Yes, the first day of school. So that's really important that people need to know this.
Do you think that this information, that by coming out and saying, hey, here's the young lady whose name was on the suit that made it all the way to this Court of Appeals, and she does not feel the way that her father claims she feels, will it help to overturn the decision?
Well, I think at least the information needs to be made available to the court. The clarification needs to be made. I'm not, you know, I'm not an attorney. I don't have a legal background.
Mr. Sullivan, you are an attorney. What legal action do you propose be taken?
Matt, Ms. Banning hired us to do 2 things. Number 1 is to take to the Ninth Circuit Court, which we intend to do, this information. We intend to file a motion to intervene in the Ninth Circuit case. And then second of all is to assist with getting this information out to the general public. And we've set up a website, the Pledge Fund, to provide information to the general public about this case and the case at the Ninth Circuit.
In your opinion, in your legal opinion, Mr. Sullivan, is this about the feelings of the daughter, or is this about the right of a father to express his concerns?
The interesting thing, Matt, is there's two causes of action here. Number one, which Mr. Newdow pled, was that the daughter was being injured by being present in the classroom when the pledge was being said.
Which is erroneous.
That is erroneous because she is not offended. She enjoys saying the pledge. That is a type of case that the court is very sensitive to and looks out for the interest of the child. The second cause of action is Mr. Newdow, as a parent, being able to teach his child about religious beliefs. That is also a case that he could bring to the court without involving his child. That, however, is a much more difficult case for the courts to sustain.
And real quickly, I just have 5 seconds left. When will you take this information to the court?
We will be in the court probably no later than the first week in August.
Paul Sullivan, Sandra Banning, thank you both very much for joining us.
Thank you, Matt.
Coming up next, Oscar winner Gina Davis, right after these messages.